Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I am sharing the latest episode in my new and must-have crafty supplies series. This is one of my favorite playlists because I love trying out new craft supplies and then sharing the ones that really are awesome with you all. Today's video is extra special because I am celebrating 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. I want to thank you all for being here, for leaving such kind, wonderful comments, and for supporting me along the way. But my biggest thanks to you all will be at the end of the video, so stick around because I am giving away a $100 Simon Says Stamp gift card at the end of today's video. Since I didn't get to the new and must-have crafty supplies video last month, I've kind of built up quite a bit of a stash here of new supplies that I want to share with you all. There's everything from glitter cardstock and foil cardstock from Pink and Maine, the new Distress color Salvaged Patina from Tim Holtz. There's some border dies from Concord and Ninth, a paintbrush from the Crafter's Workshop, embossing powder from Brutus Monroe, die cuts from Alexander Renke, and several new colors from Tonic Studios in different formats of drops. Let's start with the Salvage Patina, especially the Distress Oxide, and see how it compares to a few other colors that are close in the family to it. When I first saw Salvaged Patina, I thought maybe it might be close to Cracked Pistachio or peacock feathers. So here's what the pad looks like, and I am going to show you what the ink looks like on a domed foam blender as well. And you can see the other two domed foam blenders. I think it's probably closest to peacock feathers, but I also brought in tumbled glass just to show you how it has some elements of blue and some elements of green, and it really is a new color. So at the top is Salvage Patina, and right to the right of it, I stamped peacock feathers. You can see that peacock feathers is definitely a darker color. Tumbled glass is definitely more blue. Cracked pistachio is definitely more green. And Salvage Patina is kind of this light color that's similar to peacock feathers, but definitely different. And you'll see once we blend it out and how they dry back that they are just two totally different colors. And I think Salvage Patina is my favorite now. I absolutely love the blues, and this is like, it's just almost like an aqua rather than a dark teal. So the peacock feathers on the right there is that really dark, it's almost like a heavy color, and the Salvage Patina has such light to it. Here's the stamping and ink blending after they dried back, and you can really see how bright and beautiful the Salvage Patina is. Now let's take a look at the Tonic Studios drops. I have a new vintage drop, a new jewel drop, and a new dream drop. So I'm going to show you the difference between those three and the ones that I had in those lines before. So the only blue jewel drop I had was Sea Breeze. It's definitely more of a light blue, so I was very excited to try this brighter blue. The only dream drop that I had was the white, so I'm excited to try Lemon Twist. And then as far as the vintage drops, I had a gray color, so this mint is really pretty and it goes really well with Salvage Patina. So the jewel drops, I've shared before how much I like the formulation of the jewel drops because the liquid comes out very smoothly. Same thing though with these dream drops. I thought they came out beautifully. So the top, the jewel drops, those will dry translucent. You'll still see color, but they'll be kind of translucent. The next, the dream drops have an iridescence to them, and then the vintage drops dry matte. They all dry dimensional, so it's just whether or not you want translucence or iridescence or a matte finish to your drops. I absolutely love these new colors. Here's how they look when they're dry. You can see kind of the translucence to the jewel drops, the shine and iridescence to the dream, and then that matte finish to the vintage drops. Now let's just jump into some card making using both the Tonic Studios and the Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide, and also introducing the other supplies that I want to share with you along the way. Okay, you can see in the little picture the mix of products that we're going to use for this first card. So I'm using Tim Holtz Distress watercolor paper. I am going to stamp on the smooth side of this. This paper is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to add anti-static powder and brush away the excess, and then I'm going to stamp up some of the stamps from the Hero Arts at-sea collection from their latest kit. This is the Debbie tool that I use whenever I'm using a large stamp. The embossing powder that I'm trying out today is from Brutus Monroe, and it's called Alabaster White. It is an ultra fine embossing powder. That's why I wanted to try it out. I'm always on the hunt for white embossing powders that work really, really well. So once I heat set that, I am going to use the Distress Oxide Salvaged Patina on top. That's the new color, and I'm using the new domed foam blenders as well. And you can see that that white embossing powder resisted the ink blending that we did over top. I did want to add some additional colors and try out this new brush from the Crafters Workshop. It's a beautiful watercolor brush. So I just added some chipped sapphire to my mini waffle flower water media mat, spritzed some of that with my Distress sprayer, and then I'm using that brush to just brush that color on top. And I'm going to clean the mat and then do the same thing with some Faded Jeans Distress Oxide ink, then some Salty Ocean. So you can see that we're going from the bottom of the ocean floor where it's darkest, moving up towards the top where it is lightest, and the lightest will be the Salvaged Patina. I did add in some tumbled glass here just for that effect, and then I'm using the Distress sprayer to spritz some large water droplets because the Distress Oxide will oxidize and create that water droplet background effect that is so pretty for an underwater scene. I am going to adhere this down to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of glitter cardstock once I trim down the panel, and I'm using Thermoweb's liquid glue called Ultra Bond to do that because it can be really tough to adhere a cardstock panel down to a glitter cardstock panel with a tape runner. I'm going to make some droplets of bubbles from the little seahorse and then add some color to him as well. So I use all 3 of the different Tonic Studios drops on this card, and you can see the cute little accents and the dimension on the bubbles as well. I am going to stamp and heat emboss with the white alabaster embossing powder, the sentiment as well. So I have a piece of navy cardstock. This is from Concord and Ninth. I put some anti-static powder, brushed away the excess, and I'm inking up the stamp that says "Stay Salty," which I think is super cute on that cardstock there. And then I'm adding that alabaster white embossing powder on top. And I think that this is a good test of how well that embossing powder works because it's so scripty, the font, that it's delicate and fine. And look at how beautifully the heat embossing turned out on that sentiment. So I really do like this powder a lot. So we're going to use it again for the next card as well. This time I'm using a Hello stamp set from the Stamp Market and their embossing ink. And you will see this stamp set and all the new designs from the Stamp Market in a video coming up this week. So I am pouring that white alabaster embossing powder on top. The thing that I really like about this embossing powder is that it has a wide neck jar. So I was able to pour the embossing powder right back into the jar without using any other middleman there. And I absolutely love how bright white it is. I had no trouble melting it. I did not feel like it smushed or did anything weird. So I was very happy with it. I'm going to make a shaker card. So I have some Judikins embossable plastic. I've cut out an inner scallop circle that is also from the Stamp Market out of the Pink and Main glitter cardstock, and I'm just putting tape runner on the back of it. Then I place it down on the Judikins embossable plastic and trim around the side. This is very easy to do. The tiny scissors get right around the edge of the die, and the embossable plastic is very easy to cut as well. Once that's done, that's my shaker window. So I also cut 2 of the exact same shapes out of white fun foam. I am using Ultra Bond liquid adhesive to adhere the 2 foams together and then to adhere the foam down to a A2 piece of white cardstock as well. This is because foam really needs something a little bit more than tape runner as well, just like glitter cardstock. The other new thing that I'm using is some pretty pink posh confetti. It's called Sherbet. It's a mix of little hearts, little white circles, and then a couple of little sprinkle looking goodies. I'm going to put some of the liquid adhesive on top of the foam once I've poured the little goodies inside, and then place my window on top to trap everything. You just want to make sure your glue goes all the way around the side, and then I popped up the hello that I had cut out with the shadow die. Just a really clean and simple shaker card with some very pretty colors. Love the mix of the glitter and the white embossing powder. I also bought the new Distress Embossing Glaze in Salvage Patina, and I grabbed some in Kitsch Flamingo. You may remember this from the Conquered and Ninth video I did recently. This is the Turnabout Alpha stamp set, so I have the guide down on my jig, and then I put the stamp down right on top of the guide, close the misty door, and then peel the guide off, and then you're ready to go. All you have to do at this point is turn the entire jig from one clockwise to two being up in the right hand quarter, and etc. Now what I'm going to do each time I stamp in Versamark ink is to pour on the two different colors of the embossing glaze. Now the fun thing about embossing glaze is that it's a little bit translucent, but when you're working on white cardstock, it doesn't much matter. It's kind of just like embossing powder. But if you were working on something else, an inked background of different colors, or say a craft cardstock, you wouldn't get the vibrant color that we're getting here on the white. Just as a warning, it is a glaze. It is supposed to be translucent rather than opaque. But I really like the way these two colors look on the white. I'm also going to use the Conquered and Ninth lacy dies that are kind of those border dies. So just in order to get them to cut, I did turn them the other way. Now, technically you want to cut them off the edges. So you wanted to trim down your panel down to 4 1/4 or something like that so that you can have them cut at the edge. I wanted to show you how the whole thing cuts out and how you use this piece to line up on top of the lace. You'll see there's little bumps in it. You'll line it up there and then hold it in place, and then it will cut the top into a nice little lacy top as well. Once I cut everything out, I just trim the edges down in a paper trimmer, and now I am inking them up, both of them with Salvaged Patina, and using the domed foam blender as well. So these are really pretty in white, and I really like them in the Salvage Patina too. So here's my panel that we stamped with the embossing glaze and heat set that. I'm gonna adhere it down to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of the glitter cardstock, and then I'm just gonna add little bits of liquid glue behind the whole lace. I'm not really making sure that every little piece is covered. I just kind of want a light covering all over the lace so that I make sure it stays stuck down. And then once I have it stuck down, I'm just going to trim the sides so that both sides are flat rather than having one edge and then one that is cut in the middle of the lace. For the Alexander Renke die cuts, they're all kind of attached together. So you just trim them at the tabs and then just trim around those little tabs with some fine scissors. I did pop up that Dream on some dimensional adhesive, and then the Dream Your Dreams as well, I popped up on a thin piece of foam tape too. And then I'm just going to add some of the vintage drops that I had, and just add a couple of the jewel drops as well in the lace. I love these two colors together, Kitsch Flamingo and Salvage Patina. Such a bright, fun, summery look as well. And I love adding die cuts as a sentiment. That's a really quick way to finish up a card. In the past, when new Distress colors came out, I just bought the Oxides, but now that I have my brayers, I buy the paints as well, and sometimes the Oxide sprays too. So I'm taking a drop of the new Salvage Patina Distress paint. I put it on my mini water media mat from Waffle Flower, and then I am rolling and lifting to pick up the paint. Now I've cut down a piece of wood grain cardstock so that the wood grains are actually going side to side rather than up and down, because I think that I'll be able to make it look like waves and ripples in the water rather than wood. So I absolutely love this. I think it is so pretty. The cool thing about the paint is that you can, before it dries, you can wet it and kind of move it around, thin it out a little bit. There were just a couple of spots I'd gotten a little too dark on. And then I'm using the Distress Oxide spray to add some droplets of the color on top. So that's the nice thing about Oxides, is that you can layer the color on top of itself. Then I'm stamping Hoping to See You Soon from the Hero Arts at Sea Kit, and I am just going to stamp it multiple times until you can really see the sentiment over the wood grain. And I just thought this was just a clean and simple card, and I just had so much fun making it, and I just love the Salvage Patina color. So I did add some jewel drops as some bubbles in that water there, but I do love the wood grain as ripples in the ocean. I do love a very clean and simple card, but I thought it needed one more thing. So I cut it down to 4 by 5.25, and I'm going to layer it over some of the Pink and Main foil cardstock in silver, and that did the trick for me. That was all it needed, was just a little bit of shine around the outside. I love how easy this card was to make, and I just love how pretty that wood grain looks as the water. Now let's talk about the celebration and giveaway. So to thank you all for being here, I am giving one lucky winner an $100 gift card to Simon Says Stamp. Because this is a gift card giveaway, I can open this giveaway up to everyone. So it doesn't matter how far away you live from me, you are entered to win as long as you sign up for my newsletter. The link to the newsletter is down in the YouTube description box below the video. For extra entries, come over to Instagram and follow me there as well. Just let me know in the comments below that you did. The winner will be randomly drawn from the subscribers of my newsletter. If you like seeing new craft supplies in action, please give this video a thumbs up. And although it's not required for entry, I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel. As always, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon. I want to thank you all. Since I didn't okay, one more. The new Distress colors. Oh, I had it and then there was a bar. From